Good morning, good day, good evening, whichever one it may be for you. Welcome to the Disc Golf Show. My name is Nick. This is episode 24 of the 2026 season. And this show is brought to you in part by our local pro shop, Final Nine Sports. If you're in the Northern California area, they have two locations, one in Orangevale and one in Rattlin. As always, support local. Shop local if you can. However, if you're unable to find what you're looking for at your local pro shop, we do have a remedy for that, and that is Disc Golf Deals USA. If you go to discgolfdealsusa.com/disc golf show, save 10% off your entire order. Some exclusions do apply, but those big ticket items and large orders, that savings adds up. So save it while you can. We always like to start off the show with good news. We got a lot to talk about today. I'm always surprised. I say that every time, but I continue to be surprised at how much news gets gathered over a single week. Starting off with great news, fantastic news. Congratulations to Greg and Casey Barsby on their recent marriage. Nothing but high hopes and good wishes for you two moving forward. Dallas Garber graduated from high school, so congratulations to him, and he is committing to tour, even though he graduated, I think, with 4.0. He says that he's been given the opportunity to follow his love of disc golf and be able to tour professionally. So shout out to him. You'll be seeing him on tour more. Big shout out to Tanyel Maheen. He became the youngest player to reach 1,000 rated at 13 years, 8 months, and 15 days old, and he takes that title from Gannon Burr. Gannon commented on his post saying, congratulations, don't expect anything less, but that is awesome to see. A 13, just almost 14-year-old hitting 1,000. I think he actually hit 1,005, but shout out to him. I don't know about you, but just a quick note here. World Cup is in full swing, and just curious if you watch soccer or not, or if you only watch World Cup, or if you watch other divisions in soccer. Let me know. I'm a big fan, and currently it's exciting to watch all the teams. They've been pretty close across the board, but a few shout outs. Mexico won their first round. USA won their first round. Australia won their first battle. So yeah, let me know. Do you follow the World Cup? Also some cool news. Jomez Baseball and the Savannah Bananas announced Banana Frolf. It looks hilarious. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos or clips that they've been posting on social media, but go check them out. DGPT pros team up with Jomez and Banana Ball Championship League. Ricky Wysocki was out there, AB, Aaron Gossage, along with Banana Ball athletes. It was a mix of disc golf, baseball, and a bunch of chaos. It looked crazy. Some rocketing disc shots, and interesting new sport. We'll see. We'll see if that continues to grow. The full special did go live on Friday, June 12th on the Jomez Pro YouTube channel, so go check that out. Ohn Scoggins passed Kristen Lott on all-time career earnings list with her 4th place at Northwest Championship. Not only that, but halfway through the year, and Ohn has not placed outside 4th place at all the events that she's played. It just goes to show you that her consistency is key, her putting is great, and that pays off in the long run. Her wins includes majors, DGPT Elite Series, and A tiers. Actually, not placing inside the top 4 include those types of events. So shout out to Ohn. She deserves it. A couple documentaries are coming to, or have come to, media, and the first one being Beyond the Win, and that is made by MDG Media. It's a documentary following Ricky Wysocki through the 2025 European Disc Golf Festival, and it is on Ricky Wysocki's YouTube channel. So again, if you don't follow him, go follow Ricky Wysocki on YouTube and go check out Beyond the Win. I love that they're creating these documentaries that not only involve the gameplay, the tournaments, but personalities and a different side of disc golf and the player. I'm all in on these, and they are on my list to watch. So the other one, The Finish Line. Finish. New documentary on DGN. It went live on June 13th, Saturday. So if you are a subscriber, you can check it out. It's from the makers behind Throw Canada and An Eagle's Trail, covering the 2025 PDGA Pro World Championships in Finland. And it's from the eyes of Nicholas Antala, Evelina Salonen, and Jussi Maresma. Again, not just gameplay, but tournament creation and all that good stuff. It looks like a great watch. So let me know if you decide or are interested in watching those and how you like them if you do end up checking them out. PDGA Europe is working on growing disc golf on television in Europe, which is awesome. They keep pushing the bar for those high-level events. They reached an agreement with Norwegian producer Stian Johnson, known for the magic of disc golf, and producing content with formats and durations better suited to mainstream broadcasting. There is a difference between your live stream tournament coverage and formatted for a specific amount of time coverage and production and all that. So yeah, looking forward to that. It will cover 3 prestigious events in 2026, the European Disc Golf Festival, which is currently underway, the PDGA Europa Cup, and the WIFDF or WFDF World Team Disc Golf Championships. It will focus on storylines, national audiences, and viewing experiences, as well as play-by-play footage. So another awesome production coming our way, which is I'm all for. Really cool announcement from Haribo. They became a partner of the Frisbee Golf Finnish Championships, the Finnish Frisbee Golf Association, and Disc Golf Team Finland for 2026. So another well-known name coming into the sport, showing some support. Hopefully this does lead to more and more larger businesses seeing the value in disc golf that we all know is there. European Open announced that it added 2.5 miles or 4 kilometers of low fence for spectators. This is good overall for event production. They are always adding and upgrading the event every year, so I'm not surprised that they continue again to push the bar at event management. But one thing is, I'm hoping that this doesn't keep a disc from skipping back in, or keep one that was actually going out and keep it in. Again, ultimately, it's not going to matter because it's going to be applicable to everybody. Everybody's going to have to deal with it. And sometimes you get bad kicks and good kicks without those barriers up. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Again, pushing the bar every single year. I look forward to it. Another update is related to Paul McBeth because he is not in attendance this year for the European Open, another major that he will miss. And he just did a quick interview with All Birdies No Bogeys podcast with Brian and Nate. And he covered as to the issues that he's been dealing with ever since he had to not play since the Big Easy Open at the beginning of the season. There's a lot of things, so I'm going to run through this here. He was dealing with anxiety, panic attacks, and learning about having costochondritis. Now, if you don't know what that is, I'll tell you. Not only do you learn news here, but you learn important information, knowledge from the Disc Golf Show. Okay, so costochondritis is an inflammation of the cartilage that connects a rib to the breastbone, otherwise your sternum. Pain caused by costochondritis might be like that of a heart attack or other heart conditions. That is a serious thing to deal with. Whether it ends up being heart-related or not, those kind of scares are super serious and can mess with you mentally as well. It most commonly affects the upper ribs on the left-hand side of the body, obviously related to heart. It is sometimes called the chest wall pain syndrome, the costosternal syndrome, or the costosternal chondrodina. Chondrodina, one of those. Sometimes there's a swelling with the pain, which is a condition called the Tietze syndrome. It's unclear as to what causes it, but treatment focuses on easing the pain while waiting for the condition to improve on its own, which can be frustrating. Waiting for something to take care of itself when you can't do anything to remedy it, that's got to be tough for anybody. This can take several weeks or more, and obviously more in Paul's case. He has been out for quite a while. We do hope he is able to manage this, and this does get better, and he's able to vie for that at least one more major win for his for the history of disc golf, and kind of stapling him as the GOAT. Obviously, there's always going to be discussion there, but we know that he is in conversation for that title. So shout out to Paul. Hopefully we see him on tour at some of these events through the second half of this 2026 season. The Parnu Open was the most recent big event that completed, and that was the fact that no live stream was being held at this because it is a DGPT Euro Tour event. That's okay. They've got to grow. There's got to be levels to gameplay and to events being held, and maybe this event becomes more of a mainstream DGPT staple, and we get to see live stream gameplay. Winners at this event are some well-known names. Anneli Tugas-Moneste, after a one-hole playoff with Julia Force. So Anneli was able to get the victory there. And then Mari Vilman won over Jessi Neminen by 2 strokes for MPO. With most players not being from the U.S., actually, I don't believe there were any players at this event that were from the U.S. How do you feel about the first event that the top players will compete in overseas is a major? So obviously, the biggest event, yes, there's the President's Cup. We'll get to that. That's kind of why this show is going up a little later than normal. So, but the biggest event, or the first event for the pros going overseas, is going to be the European Open. So let me know. Do you think it's good that a major is the first event, or do you think some of the tour events should be held prior to a major overseas, at least? Let me know. Pro Worlds announced that they're going to have the largest purse in World's history. The purse is going to be totaling $300,000. 180 of that is added cash, 15,000 more than the last largest purse, which was that of 2024. It's a massive investment coming from Ledgestone. We do know Ledgestone is a massive supporter of disc golf, not only at big events like this, but other tour events. They hold Ledgestone Open, and they support many other events in that area. So shout out to them. And Detroit is going to be hosting one of the biggest events disc golf has ever seen. That is what they say. Hopefully they live up to it. I don't doubt that they will, but we will see. New black layout at Champions Landing. This is the course that has held the Glass Blown Open or the Dynamic Discs Open. It is going to be a layout. So the black layout will be the layout for all big events coming to that property and that course. But yeah, I do wish they've done a ton of improvements. We discussed this on the last episode. The tee and the island on 16, that is has gotten some improvements made. So you're going to no longer be able to skip up to the island because a little wall barrier being built there, and other holes being altered and changed. But I do like this property. It is on a golf course, but it is a staple that has been around for a very long time, and I would like to see it on live coverage as well. So we will see if that happens. Just a selfish plug. Go check out some of I did upload a couple Brixton DGPT pack opening videos. They're only like a minute and a half, less than 2-minute videos. Go check those out, see what we pulled. I do have this to pull, so there will be a video of this coming soon, and I will get around to that and let you know when that comes out. All right, so moving on to the President's Cup. This event just just finished. So I'll run through some topics that were related to this event. The USA team, that being Ricky Wysocki, AB, McMahon, Missy Gannon, Emily Weatherman, Kat Murch came in from reserve because Paige Pierce was unable to attend. And then Madison Walker ended up taking the reserve spot, though that wasn't needed in the end. And then as for Paul Ulibarri, who was supposed to be the reserve, he ended up not being able to make it along with Paige Pierce. Sullivan Tipton came in from the reserve and to take Yuli's place. And yeah, you know, things happen. Sometimes it's out of your control, and you're unable to manage and maintain whatever agreements that you made. And there are always ways that can be handled, and they did so accordingly. As for Europe, you had Vaino Makala, Lori Lettinen, Jesse Niemanen, Daniel Davidson, which was the reserve, and then Evelina Salonen, Henna Blomroos, Anneli Tugas Monaste, and Heidi Leina, who is the reserve for FPO, or for the that set of players. So it was a stacked event. After the first round, which was a single match play, USA came out strong with an 18-6 lead. The next set of gameplay was doubles match play, and both teams ended up winning 2 of those matches, which led to a 30-18 with USA in the lead. And the final game style was single stroke play. And that ended up definitely being a closer battle, and ended up finalizing that with a 30.83 to 45.16 with USA coming out on top. One thing I do want to note, and I say every year it seems like this is the case, Europe continues to grow in their talent pool and push USA, and it's just good to see that USA isn't just, yes, they haven't lost yet, but there's a chance. And there was some strong play from FPO and MPO from Europe, and I like seeing that, because then it's just not like bulldozing over the other teams. And you know, I'm all for the talent pool to grow and get better. And yeah, it was great to see. So shout out to USA for another win. But shout out to Europe on a good push, especially in that last game style of single stroke play. Some things of note was Nike was plastered all over this course. The tee pads, the boundaries, there was a ton of Nike logo all over the place. And hopefully this does lead to more support from larger companies like that, seeing the value in disc golf. And yeah, it was just cool to see. Last thing though, I do like to do my critiques, right? My constructive criticism, my old mannerisms, as Justin would say. Not a big fan of light poles being on fairways. Man-made structures, things like that, not the biggest fan. And seeing cars driving in the background on some of these holes, yes, there were new holes, a lot more OB going to be involved in the European Open. And yeah, I mean, there is good and bad when you think about the accessibility of seeing general public being able to see disc golf and having it played on that level and at that location. But it also, to me, kind of makes it look a little less exclusive to those attending in person. There's good and bad on both sides, but I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that, but I do prefer a little more exclusivity when it comes to cool events and big events like this. A couple more things before we move on, guys. One being Throw for More is this Saturday, June 20th. So, Throw for More is a global disc golf fundraiser bringing players together on June 20th for one mission: creating more courses, more access, and more opportunities to experience the game we love. Here's how it works. Players sign up, they hit the course, and play as many holes as they want. You can ask friends, family, and your community to sponsor you for every hole you play, turning every throw into an opportunity to make an impact. And thanks to UDisc, 10 cents from every round played during Throw for More will be donated to support the growth of disc golf. Whether you play 1 round or 100, every player matters, every hole counts, every throw helps. Sign up today at throwformore.com and help us throw for more. Big fan of this event. Whether I can make it out or not, I do what I can to support events like this. You know, the Paul McBeth Foundation has done so much for the sport, putting in courses in underserved areas and new countries all over the globe. Anything I can do, I will. One thing, moving on, we had Jessica Gerthy make a post about how expensive it is getting to tour. There's been a lot going on with this post, good and bad. There's obviously the supporters. I've been a big supporter of Jessica and Garrett in general. Big fan of theirs. You know, Garrett has the Double G jerky. Hopefully that's still going. And Jessica was a local to our area here in Northern California. So it's tough to see these issues arise with the pros. But, you know, is this, one thing is this a sign of the plateau that we've hit for the growth currently? One thing you can do for any player that you support is pick up their player items, whether it's fundraiser discs or you can also donate. They do have their own Venmos and probably GoFundMes that they post. Look those up, and if you want to, and if you have the means, feel free. But it is tough as a general average disc golfer to see this at this level. And you know, she did just win on tour, which had been a while since she's won a big event. But you know, is it time for players of this, I hate to say vintage, but this era to try to find new avenues within disc golf to make up for the funds that maybe they aren't making at the events? You know, she is sponsored by Innova. There's been controversy with Innova that people have brought up of how they support their players. I don't know the ins and outs of that. I just know there's been talk, but you know, I don't know. It is tough when you're following a dream that you have, and you have to make hard decisions like this on whether it is time to call it. You move on to another type of work, profession. That is one of the toughest things, because you've given so much of your life and your energy and time to something you love. You would like to see some return, right? You would like to see some strong support. But that isn't always the case. And sometimes life tells you what you need to do, whether it is something you want to or not. Hopefully they're able to come out of this on top. Obviously, you know, when you're touring on the road, current gas prices can't help. You know, you have to deal with the ups and downs of prices rising and falling, and sometimes it's tougher than others. So if you're interested, go check their socials. You can support if you want, but don't try to knock people down. You know, they're trying to do what they love. If you don't want to support, don't support. But you don't gotta yell at them for trying to find ways to continue their dreams. So anyways, there is that. Last but not least, the Silas Schultz watch. Nothing's changed yet because his next event is the European Open, so he's currently still in 25th. If you are looking for your players, we will have the link to the DGPT standings down below. Go follow along there and see where your favorite players are landing on that standings list. That brings us to the question of the episode, guys. Just a curiosity on my end. Have you ever TD'd an event? I've thought about it many, many times. I've helped at events, but I've never been the TD of an event. The questions I have follow-up are, have you done PDGA sanctioned events? And if you've done both PDGA and non-sanctioned, what was the biggest difference that you had to deal with when running a tournament, whether it was sanctioned or not? Let me know. Now, before we move on to gear and equipment, guys, do me a favor, hit that subscribe, the like, the share, the notifications, all the goods. It's very much appreciated. Thank you so much. All right, gear and equipment, guys. This segment is brought to you by Disc Golf Deals USA. Big shout out to them. Go to discgolfdealsusa.com/discgolfshow. Save 10% off of your entire order. Some exclusions do apply, but big ticket items, large disc orders, whatever you're looking for, carts, bags, baskets, save the 10%. It does add up. There was one that we did not see because of how things are posted on the PDGA site these days. But EV7 also had a disc approved on June 8th that we did not mention. That is the Protos. So go check that out. Again, links will be down below. And then recently, June 15th, Lucky Discs had the Jailbreak approved. So shout out to their new mold approval. As for recent and upcoming releases, we did have Climo Discs making some announcements. As of June 12th, we had limited edition Ospreys being available, the Confetti Major Line Osprey with the Climo head stamp, and the Jawbreaker Victory Line Osprey with the Climo head stamp as well. So if you like those plastic types, go check them out, support there. And last on their list was the Prototype Coast. It's a signature line plastic, and retail release will be June 19th. So keep your eyes peeled for that if you want to try out that new Prototype Coast mold. Last but not least, for your gear and equipment, shoes. You use them on every throw, and we like to support those brands that support our sport. That was a mouthful. And that being Ideo Sports and Vessi. Ideo Sports, more of a zero style sole, but they have low top and high top versions, the Syncrasy and the Brawler. And then Vessi has a plethora of different style shoes. Both of these shoes manufacturers are waterproof and lightweight. So that's always a big thing that I concentrate on is lightweight. I don't like my feet to be weighed down. As for upcoming events, we do have a few. Again, starting the 18th. So on Thursday, you've got the 2026 PDGA European Open Major in Tallinn, Estonia. And then next weekend, we have June 26th to 28th, the 2026 Swedish Open. It is a DGPT event in Borås, Sweden. And then also this Saturday, don't forget, if you haven't, you can go sign up for it. Throw for more. Again, raise funds to help put in courses in underserved and remote areas that have not yet been exposed to disc golf. That link will be down below. And you can also, there's a 24-hour option that you can do. So if you want to play 24 hours and you do, I believe it's 240 holes, then you'll get a little package deal if you raise $240, 240 holes. Go check it out. You can see all the information at the link below. And then also, thanks to Paul McBeth Foundation, they have the Global. That is further out. That is on September 19th. So again, that link, if you want to look into that, will be down below. That brings us to mailbag, guys. This is where we give you some products and videos to consume. If you've already done it, check it out again. If you haven't, check it out for the first time. Big shout out to Rattlin Chains Disc Golf card game. It looks like this. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Always fun to try out new, enjoyable ways to enjoy the sport out on the course, make it different than every other time you go out there. Obviously, there are other card games and other games that you can play out on the course, but this one, much more open. The instructions: walk to the first tee pad. Everyone draw a card. Play the hole with the card you drew, good or bad. There's not really any other rules to this than that. You can make them up as you go. Take a card for every hole, and you play that hole that way, whether it's good or bad. Some examples, I will give you some here. One is for the drive only, use a stick instead of a disc. Only use fallen sticks, so no breaking sticks off of trees. Another one, for this entire hole, throw the disc upside down. Another, you must make your last putt twice, and you add a stroke if you don't. So there are some really cool ones. And last, I'll give you this one. For the drive only, use this card. Yes, the actual card. You throw the card for the drive. So very fun, new version, new game that you can play out on the course with your friends. Go check it out. It's a new twist, and you play how you want with them. Again, the link for that will be down below. This is what the box looks like. Go support. Moving on to the video, Isaac Robinson recently put up a video that is stated, what does it cost to tour? Some of the things he covers is preparation for tour, things to think about, things to practice before you go on tour or think that you are ready to go on tour. Costs, how much you need to raise, a roundabout figure that you might want to think about when going in. Ways to save money, whether it's Airbnb with friends or cheap hotels. You've got to look at all your options. And then sponsorships, things to ask for, things to look for in a sponsor if you're at that tier where you can get financially supported by a manufacturer, because the costs for tournaments at that level do add up. Yeah, I'll have the link to that video down below. Again, this was a big one. We had a lot of stuff to go over, but we are at the end of the show. This is where we give you some other options to save some money. If you are in the market for a bag, go to Upper Park Disc Golf, use code DiscGolfShow, and you can save some money there. Big shout out to Disc Golf Deals USA. Go to discgolfdealsusa.com/discgolfshow. Save 10% off your entire order. Some exclusions do apply, but big ticket items, large orders, that savings adds up. So do it when you can. And also shout out to our local pro shop, Final Nine Sports. If you're in Northern California, Sacramento area, they have 2 locations, one in Orangeville, one in Rattlin. Always support local if you can. If you have any items that you'd like me to include on upcoming episodes, shoot me an email, I'm so connected with them, discgolfshow@gmail.com. More than happy to help spread the word about any products or events that are coming up in your area. And then last but not least, hit the subscribe, the like, the notifications, and the share, all the goods. I really do appreciate everything, all the support. I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you next week.